Hey y'all, I'm Diann Bayes, founder of How Big is Texas and your go-to guide for Lone Star State adventures. Thanks for joining me on today's Texas Quest. Hey y'all, today's episode is sponsored by the good folks at Visit Garland, Texas. Did you know Garland is the cowboy hat capital of Texas? That's not just a catchy nickname. It's a title the city has earned over nearly 100 years. Let me tell you why. Cowboy hats have always been more than just accessories in Texas. They've been symbols of identity, hard work, and heritage. And Garland's been keeping that tradition alive for almost 100 years. You know the saying, everything's bigger in Texas. Well, Garland took that literally. Here's Amy Rosenthal, Cultural Arts Director for the City of Garland, sharing the story of the big cowboy hat. I interviewed her on the street corner where the hat is located in Garland, so forgive the traffic noise.
Welcome to Garland, the cowboy hat capital of Texas. So we have the biggest cowboy hat in Texas right here, and this is to celebrate our long heritage of hat manufacturing. So Garland is home to 3 hat manufacturers: Hatco, Resistol, and Stetson, Master Hatters, and Milano. And if you have a cowboy hat, it's a good chance that it was made in Garland, Texas. So this last year, to celebrate this history, we received a grant from the Texas Commission on the Arts and from our Garland Cultural Arts Commission to install the biggest cowboy hat in Texas. So this is kind of a nod to Bob Daddy-O Wade's boots in San Antonio. You know, that history of playing up on a kind of a cosmic cowboy, oversized, iconic Texas elements. So if you come on down to Garland, you can see the hat. You can actually find a couple of different special spots to take a picture with the hat so it looks like you're wearing it. You can take a look underneath the hat to see its branding. And it lights up at night, too. So it's an attraction to keep people entertained at night.
Thanks, Amy. Great information. Amy mentioned Garland's long heritage of hat manufacturing. Let me take you back to where it all began. Before Texas was even Texas, before it was a republic, and before it became the 28th state, Mexican vaqueros were working ranches back in the 1700s. They wore sombreros with wide brims to protect themselves from the sun during those long days on horseback. And that's where the cowboy hat comes from. John B. Stetson invented it in 1865, but really he was building on what the vaqueros had been wearing for over a century. Gene Autry, the singing cowboy from Tioga, Texas, once said, "Don't ever underestimate the power of a good song, a good horse, and a good hat." Good advice, Gene. And Garland's been making those good hats for nearly a century. Now let me tell you about Hatco. This company is responsible for some of the most iconic cowboy hat brands in the world: Resistol, Stetson, Dobbs, and Charlie One Horse, all made right there in Garland. Hatco's story in Garland started in 1938 when Resistol moved to the city. You might know Resistol from that iconic fedora Tom Landry wore on the sidelines coaching the Dallas Cowboys. Country music stars love them too, especially native Texans George Strait and Cody Johnson. Then Hatco acquired Stetson, the most famous name in cowboy hats. Stetson's first hat, created in 1865, was called the Boss of the Plains. Think Buffalo Bill Cody, Calamity Jane, and Annie Oakley, legends of the Wild West, wearing Stetson when Buffalo Bill's Wild West show toured internationally. Stetson started in Philadelphia, but after the company went bankrupt in 1986, Hatco bought it and moved production to Garland in 1987. Since then, they've made hats for presidents of the United States, including Ronald Reagan, Lyndon B. Johnson, and George W. Bush. John Wayne, the Duke himself, wore them. And more recently, Texans Matthew McConaughey, Post Malone, and even Beyonce can be seen in those hats. Country singers Miranda Lambert and Lainey Wilson are both fans of Charlie One Horse hats. I got to tour the Hatco plant while visiting Garland and watched them make hats, both felt and straw versions. And here's a mind-blowing Texas-sized stat for you. It takes 200 steps to make a single hat. And Hatco cranks out 215 dozen felt hats and 130 dozen straw hats every single day. That's around 1 million hats a year coming out of Garland from this one factory alone. And Hatco isn't the only game in town, as Amy mentioned. Dorfman Milano was founded by Italian immigrant John Milano back in 1983. They make Panama Jack, Justin, and Larry Mahan hats. They're even the official licensed hat maker for the Kentucky Derby. Master Hatters of Texas has been in Garland since 1968. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Toby Keith have worn their hats. Now here's a fun fact. Willie Nelson's Red-Headed Stranger album was recorded in Garland in 1975 at Autumn Sound Studio. Garland just celebrated the 50th anniversary of that recording. That album won 12 Grammys, became a movie starring Willie, and it's ranked in the top 200 greatest albums of all time. Hats off to Willie, who you might occasionally see in a Resistol hat, for putting Garland on the map in yet another way. Now, I've mentioned a lot of famous names, presidents, musicians, and movie stars. But here's the thing. Most of the hats made in Garland aren't going to celebrities. They're going to ranchers working cattle, construction workers needing sun protection, and families passing down their favorite hat from generation to generation. Working hats. Hats that mean something. Think about all the heads these Garland hats have covered over the decades. All the stories those hats have seen that we'll never know. From Mexican vaqueros in the 1700s to modern-day country stars, the cowboy hat has been part of our Texas identity since before we were even a state. And Garland's been shaping that identity, one hat at a time, for nearly 100 years. No wonder they built the biggest cowboy hat in Texas. If you get the chance, make the trip to Garland. Like Amy said, find those special spots where you can take a picture that makes it look like you're wearing that giant hat. Check out the branding underneath. See it lit up at night. Explore downtown Garland and soak in some Texas history that's still being made every single day. Who knows? You might leave with a hat of your own. Thanks to Visit Garland for sponsoring today's episode. You can learn more about what there is to see and do on their website, visitgarland.com. And thank you for listening. That's a wrap for this episode, y'all. Make sure to follow How Big is Texas on social media or visit howbigisTexas.com for more adventures. A friendly review would make my day. Until next time, from Texas, safe travels.